A new release from the Rippaverse has just gotten to us. The Horseman, the next in the line. We're going to do a spoiler-free review.
Whoa!
So I got cover B, and I just finished reading it. I picked it up. Well, I didn't pick it up. It got delivered yesterday, and I didn't have time to read it because I was out visiting family. However, I read it after work today, just right now. So I'm going to give a spoiler-free review because I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't yet and got their orders. This is why it helps to be a first day purchaser. Actually, most of the time, like first hour or two. I also am going to be transparent. The last time I did one of these was the Gooding book, and I had to be honest. I didn't like it. I didn't like very much of it at all. However, I will tell you this: Horseman was damn good. Now, obviously, without going into spoilers, we can't talk about the plot or anything like that. But what I will tell you, and I'm not going to show you any pages either, even though I really want to, this artwork, Joe Bennett, my boy, this dude, there are so many just like huge set piece scenes. I mean, even like 2-page spreads that is all just like this beautiful action scene that happens multiple times throughout this book. The storyline is really good, and one thing I love about it, it's almost like he's narrating to himself. It reminded me of like Rorschach from The Watchmen, and I really enjoyed that. I don't know. It was almost like, okay, so I don't know how much I could say, but so the person who is the Horseman, Hector Caballero, I can give his name at least. He's a tortured individual, used to be in the army, and had something happen with his brother in law and his younger sister while she was pregnant with his nephew. And thankfully, the nephew and his sister survived. However, he didn't. So he's gone off on basically, he's basically a vigilante, going off on people who just do petty crime. Well, not even petty crime, but big crime too, because that's how he feeds his family. That's how he takes care of them, by taking them down and then pocketing the money. Um, let's be real. You know you're going to side with a person like that. You're getting rid of crime. Well, you deserve to get paid for your hard work. So yeah, go ahead and do it. Now, one thing that I don't think this is a spoiler at all. He is not an accept. So he doesn't have any special powers, but what he does have is military training. And yes, Brian and the Alpha Core team does show up. I don't think that's a spoiler either. I won't tell you what happens with them, but obviously, welcome to Flores Park. You know where they're going. You know where they're going to end up, and most of the story is going to take place there. So you know who's going to be patrolling those that airspace, shall we say? I really wish I could give you like plot points and elements like that, but trying to keep it as spoiler free as possible for you because I really want you to read it. It flows so smoothly. The pacing is amazing. It's awesome. It I think it took me like, okay, I am a fast reader too, but it took me like 25 minutes to read the whole thing because I was just like turning the page and like going back, and I was like, well, I read it. I want to read this again, and I think you will too. Whenever you see it, you'll definitely want to see the artwork. You'll want to have like posters on your wall. So maybe it is a good thing that they put it on the calendar. I think this is a hero that we can all get behind. Good family values. I mean, you could tell he loves his family, but he'll do whatever is necessary, even if part of that is vengeful in nature. And I really kind of like that. I like that most of his stuff is like, it just explained by his military background. He was an army ranger, he was spec ops. So there's a lot of stuff that he knows that the normal grunt, the normal thug wouldn't expect. Okay, so there's like one or two gripes that I have because I have to give a gripe. You know me, or maybe you don't know me. Um, there was one page, and it was like in the beginning of the book, where it was the exact same panel, just with different lettering on it. I think they could have made him, in a different position, or like just turn over. You could have had that framed from another shot. I understand what they were trying to do, but I also was kind of looking for stuff that other people are going to pick out and make fun of Eric for, or maybe not even Eric, but Joe and Chuck, and and try to use that against them because that's what these people do. And I do have, if I'm going to give an honest review, I do have to tell you the things that I noticed that were a little bit off. But there wasn't much beyond that. There's the one of the villains, the villain duo towards the end of the book. I really like that. I really like their dynamic, and that's his first time really engaging in combat with those type of people. And I think it's even funnier whenever you realize what those type of people means within the context of this. Also, I mean, you could tell this was written in and art directed by men because there's some boobs and some butt shots. So, yes, get the testosterone flowing. Pretty soon, we will see the Horseman, in my own opinion, on this little back wall. Somehow he will make his way in. I know I'm covering up my simp crush, but yeah, I definitely think he's got a long way to go in the Rippaverse and in Flores Park. So I highly recommend it. Once again, I'll show you my cover. This is cover B. And I really wish I could just show you some of this artwork, but you'll have to read it for yourselves. And please do read it for yourself, because if you don't want to go back through and even just leaf through it again, if you don't like the story and even just the artwork, you will go back. I promise you that. I guarantee it. This is Multi from the GCA. Y'all take care. Hail the Rippaverse. Back on track. And I can't wait for Blood Ruth. Gonna coom.